Haha, there we go. Alright, anyway, I've been messing with my streaming software. I recently got a new PC, so this is all, while I'm familiar, a little bit new to me. I'm just adjusting some things. So today we're going to take a look at the final 12 hours of the live feed for the Banana Bread Sword. Now, we started this live about 2 days ago, and this is day 2.5 of a 3-day print. So we got a little bit of ways to go. We're at about 80% according to the machine, and we're going to jump over right now. It's looking really, really good. There are a couple minor flaws with the outer skin that I can tell just from the video, but I think with finishing, that's not going to be an issue at all. The main thing here is this sword is supposed to assemble without any glue required. There are little pins that go in. You slide the blade together, and then you put the hilt over, or excuse me, the guard over it, and then the hilt screws in and kind of locks it all in place. So I'm very interested to check it out. Let's jump over and check out the printer, and here we are. Now I'm going to take down the volume so you can't hear my mic here, and we're going to turn on some tunes. We're hanging out. Go ahead and ask me anything, and we'll be in the chat. Hello Colton, welcome back. I think hopefully you're not getting an echo from the music coming through my monitor and back into the mic. I think well, if it's annoying, let me know. Welcome to See You Back. And we're going to finish up this print, I think live. I'm very, very happy. Let's see. Actually, I think I can adjust it here. Oh, wow. Okay, that ain't going to work, but close. Let's see. Hang on one second. Bear with me. I know you're staring at my bald head here. Let's do this. Let's add video capture device. Go. Oh, it's the same one. Alright. Here's what we need to do. Like I said, I got a new PC. I'm not used to messing with this just yet, but we're getting there. Let's see if I can figure this out. Let's add existing. There we go. Hey. Now you ain't got to look at my ugly mug up close. That should be a little bit better. There we go. So, as you can see, we are pretty much getting to the end of the print. It says we have 12 hours left, and it's at 82%. Of course, the further we go, the more parts it completes in the process, and the less printing it actually has to do. Now, the thing that's eating a lot of our time here, as far as printing, is the travels. It travels pretty fast, but it does have to do a retraction before each one of those travels, so it doesn't leave blobs and stuff like that on the outer skin of our model. So, yeah. Nice to know. Yeah, bald is the new perm. No echo? Perfect. Alright, so we are rolling. I'm setting up a couple of different scenes, so my live should feature some things like this. I'm trying to get my cameras dialed in. Before, the PC I had, honestly, was running a piece of crap video card, and we went a little bit overboard this time. Not over the top, but I got a decent one now, and it's a little bit easier to deal with. I can see that I'm kind of fucking, excuse me, I'm watching my OBS feed on this screen, and it looks perfect, and then I'm watching the video over here, and it looks just slightly laggy. So hopefully I'm coming through clearly. I do need to get a replacement camera for this one. This is obviously not the best view, but we're getting there. Ender 3 V2 is a great choice. That's actually what this is here, and you can see as I zoom out. Let's see here. The controller, I replaced a lot of this machine with separate mods. That purple wheel actually is off of a TiVo Tarantula, so don't judge me. It works. That's just the belt tensioner, and I have my Singularity shroud on here for a fan shroud, but other than that, it's pretty much stock Ender 3 V2. I did at one point have linear rails on here. I took them off. I wasn't a big fan, but you know, I think it was because the kit that I bought was designed for a regular Ender 3 and not a 3v2, so it kind of decreased my build size a little bit, which upset me. So we went back to stock, although if you look over here on the top right of the screen, those blue brackets on the motor for the x-axis, those are actually from the linear kit, and I put those back on because when you put the linear kit on, they give you these extra long screws to go through those brackets and make it work. And when I took it off, I didn't really feel like digging for my regular size screws and thought it looked cool with the little blue flash. So those serve absolutely no purpose other than holding the giant screws, machine screws that are in there. Yeah. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, you'll be happy with the Ender 3 V2. Yeah, the Neo's even better. So all the wafer type stuff in the middle is helping to hold the blades. Yeah, okay, so you're talking about the support. Generally, the taller you go, the slower you're going to want to go, and you can actually set it in your G-code to slow down as you progress higher. But here, we're rolling with one speed all the way from the bottom to the top, and I wanted to make sure that I reduced wobble, because as it's moving, it can move slightly fast. Tall, thin parts especially can be swayed back and forth, and that'll cause inaccuracies in your print or an overall print failure. So the reason those are there are exactly as you speculate, to hold the model in place and ensure that I'm putting filament where I want filament and not slightly to the side of a blade that has wobbled a little bit because of pressure during printing. You don't necessarily need them, and like I said, if you slow down as you get up higher, it's a lot easier to print these structures. But I've noticed I've printed a lot of really tall, thin objects, and I've noticed that the closer you get to the top, the more the warp tends to accentuate itself, simply because it's not really securely held to the bed. Now, in most cases when printing, you're going to use a brim or a skirt. In this case, I used a raft, which means there's a perfectly even layer across the bottom, 3 or 4 layers thick, which gives me a flat surface to print on. The reason I did that is because that ensures the accuracy of the parts that are printed on top of it. So these blade pieces should be exactly the right length that I need without any elephant's foot or anything like that. However, it does reduce the stability of the part's actual attraction to the bed or its adhesion to the bed. So that's one of the reasons I also included support. None of these pieces at the angles they're at with my printer should need support. This thing's fully capable of doing up to like 65% overhangs. But in this case, I wanted that extra stability, because who wants to do a 3-day print and have it fail 2.5 days in? So I've been contemplating slowing it down. If I were to do that at this point, you would notice a visible change in the sheen on the actual outer skin of the print itself, and you will be able to tell exactly where you sped it up and slowed it down. So the uniformity of the layers from top to bottom is held a lot by the temperature of the nozzle. Melbourne, alright dude. Yeah, see, that's the thing, when you get up to the top and then it's doing this circle thing, and then it hits a resonating frequency where it's vibrating if you're going fast enough, and you just kind of just knock the thing over. So I've done several lightsabers. Like I said, a lot better printed if you slow down at the top. However, using support is one of the ways to mitigate that. However, and if I had just one object here and tried to support it, the support wouldn't do much good. But because I have all these other objects and the other support provided by those objects, it kind of helps me in the long run to make sure that I have what I need. So let's go over to the stand cam here. We're going to transition back. I'm going to pop the mic off for a minute. I got to check on the kiddos, and we will be right back. I just want to point out that handle, that the detail in here is phenomenal. I do have a little bit of zitting and stuff on this face right here. Easily fixed in post-processing and finish. This though, that handle, oh, flawless. It's beautiful. Oh, just wait, that's nothing here. I got this whole case down here. Alright, so we're gonna be switching. I got another Ender 3 hot end right here. This is brand new. I was gonna switch this out because this one's a little worn, but then I got this in the mail the other day. This is the Spider. This thing is a beast, and it is not an all metal. There is a slight piece of ceramic in there, but it is a high temperature hot end. Super, super dope. And this is one of my next additions. This is a fan I built myself. This is the shredder fan, and we gotta hook this up. Waiting for this print to finish. I did print this in the same silk PLA that we're using for this print right here, and that is why, as you can see, I have a bunch of disassembled and busted fans right here. Also, those metal cards are business cards I'm laser engraving for friend of mine. And let's see, I have a whole nother tote, dude. Check this out. So more resin printers, a big mess. But this tote right here, this is literally probably 200 pounds of 3D printer. That's just pieces. Let's get that out of the way. Electromagnet, Bowden tubes, connectors for motors, nanopolymer adhesive all over the place, more Bowden tubes, hot ends everywhere, BL Touch. In here there's at least an ANET 5 and an Ender 3. Rails, V-slot extrusion, all sorts of crap, man. Original bed. This is the old school 3D printer bed from the build your own days back in the rep wrap style. Some glass bread. Oh, here we go. let's grab this. This is actually most of this linear printing kit I'm just talking about, but also brains, bro. I got the screen, the brain from an Ender 3 in here. What's this? That's the Ender 3 screen. Ramps for build your own. All sorts of stuff, dude. It's kind of insane, and I don't have the time to deal with it lately, to be honest. It's kind of sad. I work at a place now that my parents invested in that is, well, we grow medicinal products. We'll just put it that way. And it's been eating into a lot of my time, and I haven't been able to post lately and things like that. But that's for them, dude. I'm totally like, let's get to the point where I got something for me. You know what I mean? YouTube is the only thing I have for me. And to be honest, it's one of those things that I'm not willing to give up because I work really hard and I try really hard to promote and make. Fuck, dude. Not that long, honestly, Ty. Let's say I started my channel April of 2019, and when I started my channel, I did not have a 3D printer. We'll put it that way. So, almost 4 years now, I guess. In that time, I've gone through pretty much every printer in the industry. You can see, if you look back here, you see that big beast there? That's a Tronxy Core XY. You can see my Halot, Halot 1. I wish I had a Halot Sky. Those are bad. Super big build plate. I got the rinse and wash station, and I do pretty well making things out of the resin printer. It's a lot more accurate, but doesn't make for as much of an interesting video as the regular ones. If you're doing time lapses, it doesn't matter if you're doing resin or filament, right? Because either way, you're getting that static buildup of that picture of the model itself without all of the movement. If you're doing a live like this, the resin printers don't really provide a lot of interesting things to watch. It's funny how often somebody will stare at a filament printer and just watch it turn. Oh man. You'll have to come over and hang out. See that hole? Yeah, I gotta fix the ceiling. We're gonna try and avoid that. I try to avoid that at all costs. There used to be a laundry chute right above this table, so if my wife wants something, she'll just open the drawer and chuck it down the hole. Resin is a lot of cleaning. The reason that one is out of commission right now is because I had the FEP film broke, which is the film that goes in between the plate and the actual screen. So I have several more of those. I replaced it, and I did start using it again, and then somehow, I don't know if I overfilled it or what, but I made a mess again. Now, if you go to like Walgreens or Walmart and get like one of those $1 aluminum trays, you can stick it under the whole printer and it'll catch all that mess. It's really not that hard to clean up, but it's not really good for you either. I got the scary side of the room, I guess. I got this kid I work with. We call Spanky. Oh, Tim. Okay, give me just a second, and we'll touch on that, okay? This is actually my favorite part of the room, though. I just wanted to show real quickly. There is, we'll start here. Anybody who builds robots or things like that, you know what this is. This is a Raspberry Pi. This is a Raspberry Pi Nano. And I have some Arduinos and things like that as well. These are pretty much processor boards, although I do have some microprocessors as well. Let's see, where's the picking? Here. Lots of cool stuff. Sensors for the Arduino and the Nano. This is really interesting. So with this, I can take any common kid's toy that has a little microprocessor attached to the board that looks like this and reprogram it to do whatever the hell I want. So you can change, voice recordings on pre-recorded dolls and stuff like that. Kind of creepy, kind of cool, but it has pretty much no limitations. It's a microprocessing unit reprogramming tool. It's called a Picket. Definitely worth it looking into, and super, super versatile. Alright. Oh. Laser? Does this number, anybody want a laser? I broke it. All sorts of stupid stuff. Alright, let's get back to the print. Let's talk about your leveling problem. Alright? So, Tim, man, I need you to answer me as quickly as you hear this, because there's a little bit of lag here between what I'm asking you and what you're printing on the chat there. So, what exactly is your issue? Be as descriptive as you can. Take your time to think out what you want to say, and just let me know. Is it, are you constantly leveling after every print? Can you not get a level for one print? Is, BL Touch. Okay, well that's a different beast, but okay. Continue. I'm gonna transition to where you can't see my face, because I might do things you shouldn't see. Alright, so I guess my first piece of advice would be to just take the BL Touch off and throw it in the fucking garbage, because I hate those things. I'm just kidding. They're really as useful as they seem, kind of counterintuitive sometimes. And if you're really having issues with it, sometimes the best thing to do is go back to basic and revert to stock. So, yeah, can you be a little more descriptive? What exactly is happening when you try to level? Okay, alright, I'm using black PLA and it is not sticking to the bed. Sometimes the nozzle collects the PLA on the bed and rips it off. Tried the paper level method and many others. Okay, and this is with your BL Touch. So your BL Touch is taking into account all of your adjustments and things like that. Have you messed with the Z offset at all? Well, I respect that. You can still take it off though. Did you? Okay, no problem. Was the BL Touch a mod that the person that owned it before you added onto it? What version is it? Did I miss this? It's an Ender 3 V2? Or an Ender 3? You have reset the Z offset. Okay, that's cool. Once you reset the Z offset or clear it, you are going to want to set the Z offset. So you should be able to go in there and manipulate it very minutely up and down using that and get the adhesion that you want. Have you had, let me ask you this, have you had any other printers? Or is this your first one? Right, you want to live tune it. So, if this is your first printer, what I'm going to tell you to do is, I'm thinking take the glass off the plate and level the plate. So, your printer is printing way too high. That's why it's not adhering, okay? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that makes it easier, honestly. So, if you, okay, last question. Do you have, the wheels still attached to the bottom of the, you can level the bed, you can make adjustments manually by hand? because I think there's 3 things that may be plaguing you here, really, but it depends on circumstance. Okay, so you have the wheels. Okay, so what does your BL Touch unit look like? Is it a large round flat piece on the bottom? That's a good suggestion. What I would say, honestly, Tim, is no matter what's happening, you need to find a way to get your print head closer to the bed, okay? So your BL Touch is saying that you're too close, it's reading it, and it's adjusting the height to make sure it's where it thinks you need it, okay? There should either be, on the side of your BL Touch, 1 or 2 little nuts, machine screws you can loosen to help you raise or lower that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to loosen those completely, and then you're going to want to home the machine so that it touches your bed. Then you're going to want to make your minute adjustments and fasten it there, and then go ahead and level the bed again. Okay? If that doesn't work, definitely remove the BL Touch, because honestly, dude, I've tried so many different kinds of auto leveling and it never works out. Like, I can hand level this machine and get it to where it's printing constantly, consistently, print after print after print, and not need to re-level. BL Touch just seems to me to always be more trouble than it's worth. Hello, Colton, welcome back. How many hours are we in? Let's see. We are 57 hours and 32 minutes into this print. It says there are 11 hours and 46 minutes remaining, and it is at 83%. So take that how you will. So he's got stronger springs. That's good. Right, but as long as you have that BL Touch on there, it's going to let you level it in manual mode, but then when you go to print, it's going to rely on that BL Touch for input, and it's going to basically override anything you put in for your manual settings. So, and I had this problem with the Tronxy. That thing is auto leveling, that big Core XY machine back there, and every time you adjust the manual settings, it makes the actual settings for the BL Touch further and further off, but always in the wrong direction. It's a pain in the butt. That depends. Are you talking about a Cartesian machine like this? Because you don't want to align the gantry that way on a Cartesian machine. If you're using a Core XY machine, you'll align the gantry with using blocks that are uniform the same size. With this machine, it's going to depend. Okay? So people always talk about leveling the bed, and what you're doing is essentially not leveling at all. Okay? Hell yeah, smash that like button. Don't forget to reduce your Z offset on that subscribe button down below, too. Okay, so here's the thing. That bar, okay, and your bed need to be square. That bar might not necessarily be level, and that's why we have to level the bed. However, leveling is a misnomer, because if you put a level on the bed and try to level it out using that, you're going to be completely off all the time, every time. Even if you level that and level the gantry, you're still going to be off after a print or two. And the reason for that is because we're not actually leveling. What we're doing is tramming. And when we tram the bed, we're basically saying that we're taking this surface and we're making it parallel to this surface. Okay? So we want the bed to be parallel to the gantry, regardless of whether or not it's actually square with the up and down axis. However, accuracy is always going to improve when you can get that closer to a 90-degree angle and actually have it square. Now, looking at this machine from the front dead on, I can already tell you that the right side of my gantry hangs lower than the left side of my gantry. You can't tell that in the video, but from experience, I know for a fact that that's just the way it is. I can see it. Dead as day, clear as night. That's just the way that it works. The way that you fix the actual level of your gantry, you can take a right angle square and put it up in this corner here, raise your gantry up to where it meets it, and then you're going to square it that way. But the only thing that's going to make it sure that it's going to stay is by tightening this eccentric nut back here. Okay? This nut right here, if it's too loose, this will wobble, and I'm not going to yank on it right now, but I bet you it's not perfectly tight. I haven't tuned this machine in a while. You can literally come up, grab this side of the machine, and you can wobble it and feel it. And if it moves, you need to tighten the nut on the back of this wheel. Okay? That's not the only case of wobble or gauge tree problems. In here, on the bottom wheel also has an eccentric nut. So if you can come up and grab this bracket right here, if it moves at all when you wiggle it, you need to tighten that eccentric nut, because that's what's holding it tight to the actual V-slot railing and ensuring you get an accurate print. Yeah, I say that in pretty much all my intros. Make sure you adjust that Z offset on the subscribe button and smash that notification button. Give it a good first layer squish. I've had a couple of beers, maybe 2. Normally it comes off better. Live is different, but hey, it is what it is, right? Alright, so y'all want to hear an industry secret? And one of the reasons I have 20,000 subscribers when my videos kind of suck. I have like 9 YouTube accounts and I normally go in and like my own shit. Fair enough. Let's load one of them up. Let's boost these likes. Nobody else wants to give me likes, I'll like myself. Oh, look at this video. Oh! I can hear myself talking shit. Look at that. Yo! And a boost. Yeah. Okay, so to be fair, the only reason I can do this is because I have other YouTube accounts, and I do usually post videos to these other accounts. So they're allowed to go in and like my own accounts. It's kind of a synergy thing. None of them really have any subscribers. I think my gaming channel's got like 38, but this is my main channel. If I don't have time to devote to this, I ain't got time to devote to shit. So let's bump this up. Where we at? Alright, so that's 8 likes. Let's get some more likes in here. YouTube's gonna ban me for this shit. I shouldn't be talking about it. 9, 10. Ooh, yeah. Alright, we're moving up in the world. Oh, there's this. I'm gonna get a like from. Oh, check this out. Alright, so. Check out my channel. If you're watching the chat, that's my gaming channel. Definitely check it out. It's pretty sweet. Don't leave here, but open another window. 11. Alright, so you might think this is a little ridiculous, but to be honest, it is a good way to make YouTube think people like you. However, there is a downside because YouTube also goes off watch time, and scrolling through these really quickly and hitting the thumbs up, I've got maybe a 5-second watch time for each of them, which is not good for the algorithm. So it's a hit and miss. I appreciate it, Tim. I try to talk to everybody in the chats. I used to have a Discord, and Ty, I'm a little bit, I'm excited that I got to meet you and that we're talking and all that, and I'm really looking forward to doing a collab with you. There was another gentleman that I had gotten along with really well, and who was doing some moderating stuff for me, and it got really weird really fast when I was doing live streams. He'd mute people that he didn't like, but were doing nothing wrong and shit like that. So it's kind of nice knowing I can trust you a little bit, because you made me a mod of your channel and I made you a mod of my channel, so fair play. And we need to make sure that I get in on one of your live streams pretty soon so I can help you maintain, because it's really hard as a YouTuber to answer questions in the chat and deal with what's going on hand, on scene. So I know I've seen you around here before, Tim. This thing says there is still 11 hours and 48 minutes left. Man, that handle is looking fantastic. That's the crisscross piece right there. As you can see, the guard is done as well. That's going to need a little bit of cleanup. There's some sharp, not really stringing, but little burrs or zits there. But overall, man, I'm super stoked about the outcome of this so far. Well, thank you, Colton. I got a couple brothers myself. They're both annoying assholes, and I'm gonna start calling them both Fredo. I didn't say that out loud. Anyway, my brothers are cool. Brothers are alright. I definitely need to not have another beer. That's for sure. I like that you can see the taper on the edge of this blade. How you can tell that this right here is going to be the actual tip. It just stops right here, curves in. That really tells you how close we're getting to the top, although that may not be the tallest piece in there. I will say, Kira has done a lot of interesting things with their support structures. I don't like this style of tree support where it's got the zigzag pattern. I liked it better when it was regular tree support. This is a little bit harder to remove, but I can see it being useful because it's a little bit harder and can hold a stronger structure on top of it. So I mean, I guess I get it, but not my cup of tea. Gizmo Dorks, Overture, and eSun. All three very recommended, but only had success with eSun, which just so happens to be pretty expensive. Oh, you want to see what the... Okay, so Colton, hang on 2 seconds. I have some great answers to your question, but I'm going to first show Tim what this sort of looked like here. Alright, so if I go to Thingiverse, yesterday it was on the top page here. There it is right here. It's one of the most popular items on there right now. This is the Strong Sword, No Glue, Assemble Smooth, also a story about banana bread. We're printing all of these pieces right now, and you might be able to identify each of them around the build plate. This is what it looks like assembled, and as he states, there is no glue required. So there's basically a V-slot in one side of this that fits into the other, and then little pegs. Then you slide the hilt or the guard over it, and you screw the handle into that, and it locks it into place. So kind of sweet. Let's transition back. Okay, so other question. Get back in here. Okay. So your question is, what brand of PLA do I recommend? Okay, honestly, it doesn't matter, dude. Let me ask you this. Did you print by the specific instructions printed on the container of PLA with all three of those brands? Because they're not necessarily always true. Generally, when I start printing with any new PLA, I start printing at about 210 degrees, and I increase it until the stringing stops. Then I'm pretty sure that that's the dialed in temperature, and I'll print at that temperature. But it is slightly different for different brands of PLA, and if you want a couple I can recommend, I can definitely tell you that 3D Fuel is probably one of my favorites. It's the easiest to deal with, very, 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 very forgiving stuff, and very nice. Now, they have a couple different grades of PLA at 3D Fuel, so if you go with the regular grade, it's not too bad. It's about $20-25 a spool. I will tell you, I got this silk PLA, I believe, for about $21 for the kilo, so that's not bad. The only thing I suggest you do is stay away from super cheap, big bundles of no-name filament from places like eBay and overseas and things like that. Those are usually well dried out returns that are in horrible condition and won't allow you to print properly. The other thing is filament storage. If you're not keeping the desiccant packs that come with your filament when you order a new spool of filament and putting them in a sealed tote like you can get at Walmart or something like that. In fact, I have one down here. This guy right here, this tote, is full of filament, and it has plenty of desiccant packs in it to help keep the moisture. Some of these filaments are what you call hygroscopic, which means They repel moisture. Some of them are hydrophobic, meaning they expel moisture, and hygroscopic, meaning that they collect moisture. So depending on the actual plastic polymer, you need to treat them differently. Generally, a PLA is going to be something that does lose a little bit of moisture after a while, and they'll tell you to bake it and dry it out a little bit. So if you have old stuff, I mean, maybe dry it out a little bit. If you're confident that your filament is new and recently unsealed, then you should be good to go. Just start off at 210 degrees and work your way up from there. As long as they're vacuum sealed, you should be good to go, man. Or some of them lose their seal. You'll know when you puncture it if you hear that sucking sound where the air's being pulled in. You'll know if it's good. I'm not too sure I'm going to do... this sort will probably finish up sometime in the night. I'm going to end this live stream in about an hour or two when I go to bed. I think we're going to do the build video as a standalone, an actual video. Nice, dude. It's funny because the text chat is always a few minutes behind what I have to say, so it's... that was great. $16 likes, that's not bad. Anyway, what I was trying to tell you about that dude earlier that was a mod, like, I had a Discord server, and I trusted him to help me out there too, and it just kind of took over and became a tyrant, and now I don't even go on Discord. But I used to get a lot more live views when I did, and when I talked to the people. I just made the foolish mistake of handing over control to somebody who didn't deserve it. So don't do that. Right, and generally, Colton, you can tell if you take the filament and you grab the end of it and you can't bend it back and forth, because if you bend it, it breaks. You should be able to get about a 70-80 degree angle, maybe not a full 90 without a good filament snapping. Yeah, but that gives me no room for error, tech. What's funny? That's what people call me. For the V2? Yeah, dude, I got a... Oh, I wish I could turn it off and show you. I got a custom boot screen on here that's got my logo. It's pretty awesome. That alone, in my mind, is worth it. Plus all the other adjustments you can make. I'm going to have to update the firmware again here shortly to accommodate the high end, the hot end that I'm putting on because it's a higher temp hot end. So I need to adjust the maximum temperature allowable in the firmware in order for me to utilize that, but it's worth it. Oh, you can silence whoever you want. And don't call me boss, that's not funny. I'm just saying, I can tell you're a lot more chill. And you have your own thing. And I admire that thing. So it's a partnership, we'll put it that way. Uh-oh. My mom's calling me. Hang on, folks. Alright, so I live a very interesting life. Let me explain a little bit. So, for the longest time, my family has owned a restaurant in the middle of Pierce, South Dakota, right? My family is hardcore, like, New Yorker Italian, and we're in the Midwest owning an Italian restaurant. Always been a little weird. People they call my dad the noodle Nazi. Okay, so, I've worked at a restaurant my whole life, right? 11 years ago, I decided I was going to get married. 10 years ago, I got married, but we had kind of a falling out with me and my family at the time. My wife and I both worked at the restaurant. Things got weird, and we ditched out and got new jobs and got married and went about our lives. Okay, so the new job I got was at a restaurant. It was all I'd known. I did that for a while, and decided that wasn't working, so we decided to move out to the coast. We moved out to the coast, and I worked at a retail dispensary for 2-3 years, and then we moved back to the Midwest, and ironically ended up going back to work for my parents again, who even more ironically invested in a dispensary here in South Dakota. So I live an interesting life. None of that's what I want to do. Interestingly enough, technology is my passion. You know, coding, creating, making. All of that is what's really important to me. Then I get a phone call from my mom telling me she's smoked a little too much indica, and to tell my wife if she needs help at the restaurant not to call her. Life is weird. That's all I'm saying. It's weird. Dude, oh my god, that's so funny that that you were cooked. Uh, eh, eh, that's funny. You're like my alter me or something. Ironically, Tim, I've also been an eBay reseller. My mother is big on selling on eBay. And then I get a text from my wife that says, "I'm almost done. I got meatballs too." Alright, quick take. I do love Chat, dude. Me and him, we've spoken a couple times. He's an amazing guy. He's very knowledgeable. I love his channel. Everything he does is awesome. If you get a chance to check out Filament Friday, definitely do it. In fact, there was an episode where he discussed whether or not the magnetic bed for the Ender 3 could get demagnetized at high temperatures. And he actually referred to one of my videos in that video, and it was amazing. So I love that channel. I love Chuck Hellebeck is one of my favorite people, and definitely knows what he's talking about. So listen when you hear him talk.